forecast. I'm 6 News First Alert meteorologist Mallory Schnell on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
Schrock Innovations presents the Midwest's #1 independent computer repair company with service centers in Lincoln, Omaha, Papillion, Des Moines, and across the country via the Schrock desk. This is Compute This.
Good morning, folks, and welcome into Compute This. My name's Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company. That's what the big man said. 4 locations to help you out, just as the big man said when you're having trouble with your computer. The original location in Lincoln, just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road in Lincoln, Nebraska. In Omaha, Nebraska, we're at 168th and Burke, across the street from the Village Point Mall. Then in Papillion, Nebraska, the third Schrock was at 84th and Highway 370, where the all the shops actually this last week, we're starting to see that summer slowdown ebb, and more people are coming in as they get done with vacations and travel and things like that. Or maybe we just had a lot of people that dropped their tech for the World Series. I don't know. But last week was way busier than the previous few weeks, so it looks like we are coming out of that seasonal slow time as well. That was also the case in the Des Moines Service Center at 9500 University Avenue. Probably one of their busiest weeks in a month over there, just helping people out when their technology was having trouble. Lots of people on Facebook reaching out. Tons of activity this week all over the map. A little bit here, a little bit there. Definitely not full speed yet. So if you have one of those maintenance certificates, or you've had a nagging problem, or maybe you just haven't had maintenance done on your computer before, now is a great time to bring it into the service center or give us a call. We do offer free pickup and free drop-off. While we're a little slower like this, it's a lot easier for us to turn those computers really quickly and get them back into your hands in tip-top condition. Golly, yesterday we had a great Omaha Beef football game. Our listener appreciation game was yesterday. Want to thank everybody who came out for that. It was great to meet all of you and talk to you and spend some time in the Schrock box there with you. The game was good. It went into the fourth quarter. It wasn't like a 50-0 blowout or anything like that. There was one player got ejected, right? That's big. One player left on the stretcher. That's kind of sad. But he gave a thumbs up, but we never saw him move his feet when he left. So I'm kind of interested to see how he's doing as well. But it looks like the Omaha Beef are going to the playoffs, and they're playing for home field advantage now. I don't know if that means we get tickets to the playoffs, guys. I don't know. This is the first year we've had the Schrock box. I will find out if you want to go to a Beef playoff game. There's a lot going on, though. I mean, everybody we invited, we had some extra tickets last week or yesterday for the game, and everyone I invited was either going to like a concert or going to a World Series thing, or they had something going on with swim trials. And it was like, wow, there's so much going on. For those of you not in Nebraska, Omaha is the Olympic swim trial source. They take an arena and turn it into a swimming pool. So I don't know if they just close the drain in the floor and just start pumping water in, or what the deal is. But that place is really clean after the swim trials, because they just rinse it all off. But no, it's been a bit. My wife and I accidentally went downtown on Friday to go to dinner. And we lucked out and got a parking spot that was right in front of the restaurant that we wanted, which if we wouldn't have found that. Of course, I brought the F-350 that day too, because, finding a place to park in the F-350 is a lot easier than, any other vehicle on the planet. So, first world problems and everything. But I wanted to thank everybody who came out and joined us at the Beef game. It was genuinely a good time. We had a lot of fun. Louis was there, my 3-year-old. He had a lot of fun there too. Everything's fun and games until he cracked his ear at the end of the game, But it was well past his bedtime, and he was running on fumes anyway. All right, so number to join us on the program today. If you have a question, give us a call. We want to have your question here on the air. The callers make the show. I can talk the whole hour. You don't want that. That's what the Aftershock is for. So give us a call at 888-250-2091. Ask a question or make a comment, and we'll put you in the drawing for a $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate that you can use in any of our locations. It's good for 90 days. You can use it for anything you want, a renewal, a new computer, anything you're looking for, and we'll have it there for you at Schrock Innovations. So we got a lot of ground to cover. If you missed the show last week, guys, it was a really good program. You missed out on a good one. You can watch it and listen to it at SchrockInnovations.com. Just click on the radio tab there to get in on the action there. But last week we told you about the counterfeit parts that are moving their way into the PC component ecosystem. I know a lot of you don't build your own computers. I understand that. But it's something to be aware of. If you are having a computer built for you and something seems too good to be true on the price point, That's usually because it is right now. There's a lot of parts that are, especially parts coming out of China, that are no-name brand video cards, for example, that say they're a 4 gig whatever card, and actually they're not. They're some old Windows XP chipset rebranded to look like a modern graphics card. They're literally fake graphics cards. Fake news, fake graphics cards. My brain started spinning down a rabbit hole there, and I had to stop it because otherwise we'd be talking forever. But it's really scary when you think about it. You could get a computer, and it could have parts in it that aren't genuine. Also, we reminded you to reboot your computer if you have not done that yet. It's been over a week since Patch Tuesday, so your computer's going to get a little testy with you if you haven't rebooted it yet, and you're going to wake up one morning and it's just going to be rebooted for you. So it's definitely something to keep in mind there to make sure you reboot your computer from Patch Tuesday. We also told you about a really interesting story about how in the future you might be able to strap a battery to your body somewhere and have it wirelessly power all of your gadgets through your skin. That's right. They want to use you as the transmitter for the power. So you'd have like a battery pack and you'd stick it in your shoe or something, and it would just send power up your foot, and your watch would run and your phone would run, and you put your phone in your hand and it would turn on. And like, whoa, look at that. And device makers are thrilled because they can get rid of the batteries and things, make their devices cheaper, lighter, thinner. You know the drill. I don't know how they would get rid of the batteries entirely, though, because if you weren't holding your phone in your hand, would it not ring? You know, like it doesn't have power. Doesn't seem to make a lot of sense there, but I'm sure that these are just technical details that will work out with time, just like autonomous driving. We'll get there. 888-250-2091. Now, before we jump into the stuff we're going to do on the show today, I mentioned a little bit about maintenance, computer maintenance. I was cutting new spots. You know, the commercials that you hear on some stations air their own commercials, some stations air our commercials. So we have these filler commercials that run. They're also there as a purpose, because sometimes I get on a tangent and I actually forget to talk about Schrock stuff because we're so into the stories and the calls and everything we're doing. And so the commercials are my catch-all, so that you guys hear about the products and services that we offer, so we're communicating that message to you. Well, they were getting a little older, so I wanted to make sure we cut some new ones. So I was working on cutting new ones, and I was writing the maintenance checkup spot, and it occurs to me while I'm writing this spot, when is the last time on the radio, aside from the maintenance sale, and the maintenance sales, you guys know what to do. It's not a description of what we actually do during the maintenance checkup. When is the last time that I actually explained why you should get a maintenance checkup on your computer? I mean, you get a checkup on your furnace or your air conditioner, or at least you're supposed to. The other day, my wife defrosted the freezer in the basement. We have a commercial freezer in the basement because COVID, that's all you can buy right now, in any kind of size anyway. And so we have this giant commercial freezer. Well, it's not frost free, so you have to defrost it and blow out the coils. You have to maintenance it. So there's maintenance that you need to do on complex equipment, but yet no one really believes that there's maintenance you need to do on your computer to keep it running the way it's supposed to run. And it's false. It's wrong. And so what we see are people who come in who have a computer that they've had for a couple years, and they've never had a maintenance check before. And I was talking to the guys in the service center. I said, guys, why is it when people come in and ask for a maintenance checkup, there's a maintenance checkup, and then if we find any problems, there are suggestions, you need some antivirus, you need secure update or things like that. But I never see anyone coming in because their power supply is bad and having us tell them that they need a maintenance check. And I'm talking to my guys. I'm telling them, you guys all know that people need these. I mean, we say once every 6 months. That's what PC World magazine says. Being realistic, you go to the dentist every 6 months, right? So maybe every 7, 8, maybe once a year. I get it. Once a year, life's busy. Okay, but once a year at least. But most people don't even do that. And as a result, you have problems. We had a computer that popped into the Omaha Service Center yesterday. Literally, it exploded. His power supply exploded in the computer, tripped the breaker in the house. And he's like, oh, yeah, I'll put the breaker back on, but now the computer won't turn on. That's the first thing that occurs to me is, an explosion in my computer, and all of a sudden I'll just try to put power to it again. Of course I would try that. Everybody would. But what if we could have caught that power supply failure before it became a firecracker? Because right now we're testing everything for him, because that surge of power could have taken out his solid state hard drive, could have taken out his motherboard, processor. There's all kinds of delicate circuitry that a static electric charge from your finger can zap, let alone, a lightning bolt from your computer. So when we test the power supply as part of the maintenance checkup, that's to prevent things like that from happening, right? When we test the memory, it's to catch those memory errors early to prevent the errors from happening at the worst possible time. When we test your hard drive, it's to keep your hard drive healthy and your data safe so that you don't end up with a hard drive crash, losing everything and flying into our data recovery lab for a $400 to $1,200 bill to get your data back. We want to prevent these things from happening so that we can keep your computer running the way it's supposed to. Some computers need more maintenance than others, to be brutally honest. Grandma's little, email banging computer that you bought at Walmart for $2.99, if you don't maintenance it, if the whole thing blows up, you only got $2.99 in it, right? So I guess we don't really need to spend a ton of money on maintenance. But if you have a giant gaming computer or an important work computer, those you want to maintain. That was the logic all the way up until COVID. And now after COVID, when we all learned that our PCs are actually still important, that the PC is in fact not dead. This has been called dead so many times, it's not even funny. We've covered that on the air here. That people want to have computers and laptops in their homes again. Except now when you go to buy one, there just aren't any. Have you been to a box store recently? Have you gone in and tried to buy anything anywhere recently? Have you driven past a car lot recently? You notice the car lot's half empty? Did you notice that when you go into Best Buy, you have like 9 computers to choose from now? Not 20? Have you had an appliance? One of our friends had their air conditioner die again. It's like the 3rd time in 2 months. It's because they're putting used parts in the air conditioner, guys, to fix it, because they can't get the parts. Why did we buy a new freezer in the Schrock household? Because the motherboard in our old freezer died and they couldn't get the part. So we're seeing it, like I said, we're seeing counterfeit parts in computers now. So there was a logic to the idea before that if you only have a few $100s in a computer, you don't want to spend another few $100s keeping it running because you can just buy a new one when it fails. But I'm here to tell you right now, guys, you can't buy a new one when it fails anymore. Not for $299. That's what a lot of people are discovering when they go and shop for computers. They're stunned that the prices have gone up. And we covered a story 2 weeks ago from Dell, HP, and Lenovo. All 3 companies said the prices are going to go up at least 10% on their side. Like what they're charging Walmart or Best Buy or Schrock to sell computers, it's going to go up 10%. And these, companies have a choice. They can either eat the 10% increase in a device where they already have virtually no margin. We don't make a ton of money when we sell computers, guys. We make money on the ancillary services that you need along with the computers. That's how we pay our people. That's how we pay our rent. That's how we pay our electric bill. So we have a choice to make at Schrock. And the choice we're making right now is we're not raising the cost of the computers yet. We're going to eat the 10% roughly increase that some of the computers we've already seen an increase, as much as a $50 per unit increase in the cost. Which is super significant on a $600 computer. You know what I mean? $50 increase is pretty heavy. What I'm saying is if you are considering a computer purchase, if you are thinking about buying one, give yourself extra time. You're not going to just walk out to the store and pick up a computer. Now, of course you can. You can open your wallet wider and pick up anything you want. That's the point, though. If you're thinking you're going to go out to the store and buy a $299 computer for grandma to use, you're going to be a little surprised when you get to the store that computer now is $300 or $400. Or sorry, $400 or $500. $299 is $300. See, I fell for it there. You're going to be surprised, and you're going to be surprised in some cases when you come in looking for a part. If you need a processor for your computer, and guess what? It's delayed. Sorry. I bought a new rower because I need to drop a few pounds, and I hear rowing is like the best exercise you can do to exercise all your muscles and cardio and everything at the same time, right? Bought a brand new $1,700 rower from Nordic Track, defective on arrival. I've waited a month to get my rower up and running now. I got the part yesterday. Now they got to send a tech out to put it in. And I'm like, I might be able to do this. I mean, it's not a computer, but it's a rower, but nuts and bolts are nuts and bolts, right? So anyway, I guess what I'm saying is, guys, take your maintenance seriously, because the maintenance is what separates the small repairs from the catastrophic repairs. And right now, for probably the next 18 months, Keeping the repairs small and not catastrophic is the name of the game, because the new computers are getting more expensive, and supposedly all the inflation is transitory. It'll all go away. Some people believe that, some people don't. But if that's the case, then let's get through the transitory period so that you can save the money and keep it in your wallet. 888-250-2091. Coming up on the program, shops are picking up, as I mentioned. 1 billion CVS records exposed online. We're going to tell you about that. Amazon, though, has a bigger problem with a database that they have online. Microsoft tries honesty in its marketing, and it is hilariously effective. Wow. I don't know whose brilliant idea it was to do this. Let's just run with that. It was so, I'm going to tell you about it. It's so funny. Also, Facebook has a new smartwatch coming. Is everyone excited? You can get the new Facebook watch. We're going to tell you all about the Facebook watch, what it is, why you need it, and sorry, I can't say that with a straight face. And, why now? We're going to tell you all about that coming up on the program. 888-250-2091. Mike, stay on the line. Your call is coming up next on Compute This.
Today's fragile computers need maintenance more than ever. Your computer needs a maintenance checkup every 6 months to last beyond its 18-month expected lifespan. Some people like desktops for their power and upgradability, but nothing rivals a laptop for computing on the go. But why should you have to sacrifice performance for portability? The innovators at Schrock want our customers to have it all, so we created a new kind of laptop, the solid-state laptop from Schrock Innovations. Solid-state laptops are built using the same frame and mainboards as regular laptops, but we've removed half of the moving parts while more than doubling the computer's speed. The result? Laptops that boot to Windows in 6 seconds or less, respond instantly to your commands, and can survive drops that put most laptops into the data recovery lab. Starting at only $499, solid-state laptops give you speed, reliability, durability, and performance for the same price most people pay for a cheap disposable laptop. The next time you're looking for a laptop, check out the solid-state laptops at SchrockInnovations.com or visit any of our service centers. Simple, solid, fast technology is what we do at Schrock. Compute This Pro Tip 299. There are enough mothballed computers in U.S. homes to give one to every man, woman, and child in the country. Many of these computers find their way into landfills where they can leak cadmium, lithium, and other nasty chemicals into the groundwater. Schrock Innovations is very proud of the fact that we recycle more e-waste every year than we create. You can drop off any old or broken computer equipment to our service centers at any time, free of cost. We only charge $15 just for monitors because they are especially difficult to process. No appointment is required, and we accept all computer-related equipment like printers, keyboards, speakers, and accessories. Additionally, the rare earth elements in computers can be recycled right here in the U.S. to reduce our reliance on supplies from foreign countries. Take a moment, drop off your old computer equipment today, and Schrock will make sure it's properly recycled and put to good use right here in the U.S. This pro tip brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Alrighty, folks, we're back. Welcome back into Compute This. My name's Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company, the #1 voted computer repair company in the Midwest, guys. Best of Omaha, best of Lincoln, best of Sarpy County. We've only been in Des Moines for a year. They haven't had an award season yet. We'll see how we do, all right? But as of right now, guys, we have a great trend going in the best ofs, and we appreciate all the votes and patronage that you guys give us to keep us there. We promise to keep giving you great service. In fact, let me tell you a story. This is an example of the kind of story I normally share during the aftershock, but I want to share this with you because it tells you the mindset that service providers sometimes have. One of the employees in one of my service centers, I'm not going to throw him under the bus. We were talking about, we had a particularly unreasonable customer come in, making some demands on us that were excessive, in our opinion, but yet, customer's always right. That's kind of what I said. I was like, guys, I get that was a rough call. I get that, I don't ever expect any of you to get abused. Like, you don't have to take someone like verbally, screaming at you and calling you names and things like that. But this is an example of a situation where you can escalate it to me or to Parker or somebody, and then we will handle them. But I said, but at the end, guys, the customer is always right. And one of the guys chimes in and says, this is what frustrates me is like, everybody thinks it's still before COVID. when the customer was always right and everything was, everything was true like that. And now they don't realize that that's changed. And now the customer's not kind of always right. That was a wake-up call for me because I've experienced that service pretty much everywhere I've gone, like everywhere. I pretty much got a pat down at the metal detector because the mask people didn't have anything to do with the beef game anymore because you don't have to wear a mask anymore. But literally, they're like, are those diapers in your pocket, sir? Because, we had Lou with us. And I was like, yeah, they're diapers. And can you show me the diapers, sir? Like, they're Huggies. They're overnight protection. They're diapers. Open your pocket and show me the diapers, sir. Oh, my goodness. Okay. Did they set off the whoop, 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 whoop? I don't know. That's the level of service you get everywhere now, no matter where you go. That's not the level of service that you get at Schrock. And so I took this opportunity as a teachable moment to explain that to everybody that, yes, you guys, what you're saying is true. That is true everywhere right now. I have experienced it. Heck, I have a rowing machine I haven't been able to use for a month because guess what? Nobody cares that it was late. Nobody cares that I got it and it was broken. Nobody cares I had to wait a week for a part and now 2 more weeks for a tech to come out and put the part in. They just don't care. Because where else are you going to go? What else are you going to buy? There it is. You want stuff, you got to wait. That's not how it works at Schrock. And I explained that to them because I'm the guys, eventually the world's going to get back to this. Back to the customer is always right. This is an anomaly that we're in right now, where everybody's a little grumpy and, not really giving great service. The people who continue to give great service are going to be the companies that come out on top. They're going to be the companies that win market share, that win customers, and that retain their loyal customers. And literally, I don't know, I must have had a soapbox or something. People gathered around me in a semicircle. I must have been particularly adamant about this point, but they were listening like I was preaching on the street corner or something. I'm like, okay, I'm done now. Sorry about that, buddy. I didn't mean to throw you under the bus there in that comment and the whole thing. But he's like, no, that's all right. I understand now. It's like, yes, he understands now that he don't say that in front of the boss, that you're going to treat his customers not like kings and queens. So anyway, but that's what I'm saying, guys. That's what all my younger guys are seeing when they go out and shop right now. And when they go deal with people and they're wondering, why is it that I have to deal with all this when I get treated that way when I go out? And it hasn't occurred to them yet. If you don't want to be treated that way when you go out, you start treating other people differently. And then the world will come to that conclusion that people should be treated with respect. The customer is right. And that we do honor customer demands and customer requests to the extent that we possibly can. 888-250-2091. Over 1 billion records are exposed at CVS, but guess what? You don't have to worry about it. The records were anonymized. It was a database stored on Amazon's web servers that was not secured. They didn't put a password on it. It was a database from a third-party vendor, so you see it really wasn't CVS's fault. They just hired somebody and gave them 1 billion of your health records to put in a database that they chose not to put a password on. But don't worry, your names weren't on the records at all, just your email addresses and, medication requests and, weird, no medical records you see, just like service requests where they're tied to email addresses. And yes, somebody could take your email address and tie it back to your ID and then find you on the internet and try to cross-fish you and all this other crazy stuff. It could happen. It will happen. But don't worry about it. Honestly, as far as breaches go, if you're going to have 1 billion records breached in a healthcare system, this is pretty tame. The bigger problem that Amazon has is the number of fake reviews on Amazon.com. Prime Day is coming up, right? How do you know that dash cam thing that you're looking at is actually decent and not a piece of garbage? Because you look at the reviews, right? Well, there was a whole bunch of reviews that were exposed that 200,000 people are participating in Amazon fake product review scams. Most of these are organized through China. What they do is they basically ask you to buy a product. And you go on Amazon, you buy the product, you review the product, and after you post your 5-star positive review, you send a Gmail address or some email address, an email with a link to your review and say, here's my review. Then they PayPal you the money back. So basically, you're getting the product for free in exchange for writing a 5-star review before you ever have the opportunity to look at the product. That's a scam. And 200,000 people apparently in the U.S. have participated in this scam. and their database got leaked. The bad guys didn't secure their database, and now all the PayPal addresses of everybody who got paid money for writing fake reviews have been exposed. No word on if Amazon's going to hunt these accounts down and eliminate them, or what they're going to do, or if they're going to look for reviews from these people and eliminate them from the system. Don't know what's going to happen there, but even the bad guys make database mistakes is the moral of the story. All right, number to join us, 888-250-2091. That's what Mike has done. Mike, welcome to the program. How can I help you today on Compute This?
Hi, thanks for taking my call today.
No worries.
Sure, I have a computer that I like to use, and I have Linux Mint on it, and I can't boot it anymore. And I've tried several things to try to get the computer to work again, but I just can't get it to work. So I wondered if you had more ideas about how to try to fix it.
Yeah, tell me a little bit more details on the problem. So when you say it won't boot, does the power turn on? Let's start there.
Yes. What happens is I turn it on, and no matter how long I leave it on or how many times I try to turn it on, I just get a blank screen. I can't get BIOS. I can't get the Linux Mint to come up or anything.
Gotcha. So you're getting lights and fans, but no boot.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
Usually that's a power supply. Usually that the
Well, okay, yep. That's I put a new power supply in the computer, and it was very easy to do, and it didn't fix the problem, unfortunately.
Gotcha. Question: power supply new or power supply a pull from something else?
New power supply.
Okay, so odds are it's a good power supply. We have had defective power supplies before, but it's pretty rare that you have a situation. I'd say we get maybe once every quarter one of those computers that comes in with a problem. We put a part in it, and we're like, why didn't that fix it? And then we find out the part that we put in it was bad, and we had to put a different part in. So that happens, but it's pretty rare. So if the computer still isn't booting, the next step that we would do in the service center is I would remove the memory sticks from the computer. What this is going to tell you is, if you take the memory sticks out of the computer and you try to turn it on, it's going to beep. It's going to say in computer beeps, hey, dummy, I don't have any RAM. And if you get a beep, that means that your processor's working and your motherboard's working. If you don't get a beep, now you've just isolated the problem all the way back down to power, processor, or motherboard.
Okay.
And then we would trace it from there. We would try a different processor. We would try a different motherboard. We would try yet another power supply and see which of the three it is or which combination. If you had a bad power supply, as I talked about earlier, sometimes if you have an event with the power supply, it can actually damage the components internally. And so if you've got a situation, one thing I'll point out real quick here, Mike, also, is if your power supply, and I mean, I know you installed it yourself and you probably installed a million power supplies. If you didn't plug in the CPU power cord, it's either a 4 or an 8-pin plug that goes to the motherboard. You're going to get that. It's going to turn on, but nothing is going to happen because the processor's not getting juice. So make sure there are two connectors going to the motherboard from the power supply, the 24-pin and either the 4 or 8-pin. And now that we have completely sailed over the heads of most of the people listening, Mike, if that doesn't work, bring it into the service center. Let the guys diagnose it. We offer the first hour of labor for free. We do work on Linux systems. First hour of labor is free. You can bring it in, and in that first hour, we should be able to figure out exactly what's going on. If it's something that you feel comfortable fixing, you're under no obligation to have us fix it. You can pick up the computer, take it back, and fix it on your own. If you would prefer us to do the work, we're happy to do that for you as well. Thank you for the call, Mike. I appreciate you joining us on the program with a Linux question. See, I had a story I could have run with today about how there was a major Linux kernel vulnerability that was discovered and patched in the same week. And so you got to update your Linux. But I literally said, how many people listening are going to be running Linux? And then Mike is the first call of the show. Just tell you how the world works. That's craziness. 888-250-2091. Going to take a break here, guys. Jeff, Kathy, stay on the line. Also, coming up next, Microsoft tries honesty in its marketing, and the results are genuinely hilarious. We're going to read their ad to you coming up next on Compute This.
Schrock Innovations can't teleport technicians to you, but online help is only a click away with the Schrock Desk. Subscribe today and get unlimited help whenever you need it. In 1798, Eli Whitney's Connecticut Musket Factory was the first business in North America to use replaceable parts in a firearm. Before Eli's factory, if your musket broke, you had to send it away to an expert gunsmith for repairs, or just toss it and buy a new musket. Technology manufacturing has come a long way since the 18th century, but you wouldn't know it by looking at today's big box store computers. Dell, HP, Sony, and other manufacturers continue to take away your freedom to upgrade and repair your computer by eliminating expansion and repair options. Some desktops are even powered by a tiny laptop adapter. Schrock Innovations believes in Eli Whitney's idea of interchangeable and replaceable components, and that's why our custom-built modular computers last longer and cost less to repair than computers you see at big box stores. Ask your friends and family how often they replace their box store computers, and they'll probably tell you every couple of years. And what do they do with the old machines? They just get thrown out like broken muskets. Imagine a place where your computer's problems can be fixed quickly and inexpensively. Imagine keeping your computer for 6 years or more. You are imagining the kind of computers we build every day at Schrock Innovations. Our modular systems last longer, perform faster, and cost less over the long term than anything you can buy at a big box store. While the talented technicians at Schrock Innovations can't make you a musket even if they tried, our commitment to the freedom offered by modular computers is the modern-day extension of Eli's innovative musket factory. We think Eli Whitney would be proud, and you can take pride in owning a small piece of American innovation. The modular computer from Schrock Innovations. Compute this pro tip 843. Of all computer failures, the scariest and most expensive is the hard drive. But there are some steps you can take to save money and save your data before it's too late. Detecting failures early is important, so install a free utility like Drive Advisor from driveadvisor.com to monitor your hard drive's health and receive warnings when there's a problem. But most of all, hard drive failures happen slowly, so early detection is key to reducing the repair bill. Second, if your hard drive makes any unusual noises, immediately turn off your computer and do not turn it on again. These issues are physical problems, and the more you try to use it, the worse the damage becomes. Remember that most computer repair shops do not have the specialized equipment needed to recover data from a failed drive. Never open your drive or allow anyone else to do so. Opened drives always cost more to recover. Schrock does not charge for data recovery evaluations and quotes, so let the local pros look at your drive before you make any recovery decisions. This pro tip brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Fox News, I'm Karen McHugh. An organized attempt to restart the Obama-era Iran nuke deal gets underway in Europe today.
Parties to the Iran nuclear deal will hold a formal meeting today in Vienna. That's according to the European Union. Iran and the six world powers have been meeting since April to work out steps for the U.S. and Iran to restore the deal. President Trump pulled the U.S. out of the deal in 2018 and reimposed sanctions on Iran. Tehran has since started rebuilding stockpiles of enriched uranium, a potential path to nuclear weapons. Russia's envoy says a deal is within reach but is not yet finalized.
Fox's Jackie Ibanez. That heat wave across the Southwest is expanding.
We're seeing record-breaking temperatures across the Southwest, and then that'll extend all the way up to the Pacific Northwest by the time we get in on Monday.
National Weather Service meteorologist Lara Pagano. America is listening to Fox News.
Now, the News Radio 1110 KFAB Weather Watch.
After showers push off to the east this morning, we are looking at partly cloudy and humid conditions. High temperatures around 90 degrees in the metro. An isolated storm can't be ruled out this evening, but most of us stay dry. A few more showers to the south of I-80 overnight tonight as lows drop down near 60. With Omaha's most accurate forecast, I'm 6 News First Alert meteorologist Mallory Schnell on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
Alrighty, folks, welcome back into Compute This. Thanks for joining us this morning to get your computer fix on. We appreciate you all being here. The Compute This radio program airs live every Sunday at 7 a.m. in Omaha. It re-airs at different times of the day and different days of the week in lots of other communities. So if you want to call in on the program, the number to join us is 888-250-2091. And you give us a call between 7 and 8 a.m. on a Sunday morning, and you'll find us right here. Otherwise, you just kind of get a busy signal, and it's a little weird. I want to take a quick moment to remind you about your computer security as well. We talked a little bit about the maintenance that your computer needs on a regular basis. On the facebook.com/Schrock Innovations, where we're live broadcasting right now, there's a discussion going on about Sophos right now. Sophos is the antivirus software that Schrock recommends. The Sophos antivirus software is truly amazing stuff. I mean, I'm saying such nice things about them that I'm thinking I should contact their corporate office and see if they have any co-op advertising dollars. They might pay me to say these things, but I'm just saying them because they're true. And that's not how the world works, right? Everybody gets paid, right? Why am I not getting paid? But no, it's really true that Sophos is the most amazing product out there. And then we've taken this great AI-based antivirus product, this Intercept X product, and then we have backed it by a number of the secret sauce under the hood, if you will. A lot of people ask us, well, can't I just buy it from Sophos and not get it from Schrock? Which, people ask us that, and we're like, rude, but you can't say that. Customer's always right. So we're like, no, you can. You could totally buy it yourself, but then you're your own network administrator. And what that means is you're going to set up your own rules set. What happens when an infection hits the computer? What kinds of infections do you want to dramatically react to? Are there any actions you want to prevent people from doing? Can they turn off the antivirus if they want to? Or are they forced to leave it on all the time? There's all these different rules that come together that really make up the heart of what the Sophos product can do. It's how we respond when we detect a threat. And that's the secret sauce at Schrock that really gets things working for you. Because when we see something with Sophos, we actually get an alert on our dashboard that your computer, it doesn't tell us what you're doing on your computer, what you're looking at. It just says your computer has an issue, a security issue, and that then the Sophos software will attempt to automatically resolve it because, security issues. We have thousands of subscribers. We would be like all day forever seeing. It'd be like that bell that Amazon hooked up when they first started that would ring every time they got an order. Imagine if that bell was hooked up now. It'd be a fire alarm, all the time. We don't want a fire alarm. So, the system will automatically try to solve a lot of the issues. And when we see one that we have to personally interject and fix, we create a new rule to fix that one in the future. And so that way, the system becomes more automated every time somebody encounters something. We have not had a customer get infected with an actual virus while running Sophos ever. Now, there's a lot of asterisks here. An actual virus, meaning like a Trojan, or a piece of ransomware, an ad malware thing. Yeah, that'll happen because people install stupid stuff on their computer that has built-in ads and they don't know that they're doing it. But an actual virus, never, not once. And that's why we back it with a virus-free guarantee. We know it works, and we know it works well when monitored the way that we monitor it. Also, Secure Updater is a great companion product. It's a program that we make at Schrock. In fact, right before the radio show this morning, I haven't had my laptop on all week. Since last week's show, actually. So I brought it in, hooked it up, turned it on, Secure Updater popped up, and started installing updates for me. Because the computer hadn't been turned on, it needed all these updates. Secure Updater installs updates every 8 hours automatically, whereas like your Adobe updates, your Java updates from Oracle, you're going to get those like every 14 days. And that's an eternity in the amount of time it takes to actually get infected or impacted by something. So take your computer security really seriously. Maintain your device and then protect your data, protect your identity, protect your internet connection. If you're on a metered connection, especially, you definitely want to make sure you've got these programs in place to keep you safe along the way. And we can do that for you at Schrock. All the software that I just mentioned, you don't even have to come in for us to install it. We can do it right over the Schrock desk. 888-250-2091. Jeff, welcome to the program. How can I help you today on Compute This?
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for the program. I really enjoy listening to you.
Well, thanks for holding on the line, Jeff.
I read an article recently about how, the article stated that supposedly Amazon has, as of June 8th, flipped a switch, if you will, in our Amazon Echo products.
Yep.
And in the Ring Video Door products that'll turn them into like a neighborhood mesh network, and that all of our little products are going to soon be even more so functioning to the benefit of Amazon. Is there any truth to this?
Yeah, there is. It's called Amazon Sidewalk. Basically, okay, we did a test in the Schrock household. First of all, to disable Amazon Sidewalk, you have to have the Alexa app installed on your phone, which some people don't have. But if you have a Ring doorbell or an Amazon Alexa, like an Echo or a Dot or whatever, you probably have this on your phone at some point. But if you open up the app, that's how you interact with it, and you can actually disable Amazon Sidewalk. I disabled Amazon Sidewalk on the devices that were under my account, but the majority of our devices in our home are under my wife's account, and she did not disable them. Now, before Amazon Sidewalk, we had a terrible problem in our house, and I've got 2 multi-$100 wireless routers in my house that are in a mesh network configuration. And our Amazon devices are forever dropping off the network. We have pre-programmed actions like, we say start bedtime, and it turns on the lamps in the kids' rooms, turns on the sound machines, gets everything all turned on, all automatically. It's really neat. But the problem is those Amazon devices drop off the internet all the flipping time. And we don't know why. The TV's fine. The phones are fine. The iPads are fine. But these stupid Amazon devices are always falling off the network. I don't know why. Well, since Amazon Sidewalk came out, they're all online all the time because they can piggyback internet off each other. So if only one device in the house still has a connection, they can all get a connection from that device. So creating an in-home mesh network is brilliant. And if Amazon would have limited that to devices on your account sharing connections with each other, I think they may have been able to slip in the future things under the radar, right? They just like, change the terms of service. Now we share with everybody. Yay. No one would have noticed. But instead, Amazon Sidewalk, what it does is it takes a very small percentage of your bandwidth and it uses it to connect other devices that are near your devices, whether they're on your account or not. That could be somebody's, when I say Wi-Fi, like somebody's phone walking by probably isn't going to jump automatically on, but your neighbor's Ring video doorbell might, if your network is particularly strong like mine. I could probably have 3 or 4 of my neighbors' doorbells on my internet connection. Now, I pay for unlimited internet connection, so I didn't blow up over this thing like, lovely Kimberly, turn that garbage off. I didn't go down that road. It didn't matter that much to me. My information is secure, I would assume. They tell me it's secure. I understand how you can partition an internet connection so that you're sharing it blindly, which is what everybody does when they have a wireless router. Nobody can get past the wireless router to your devices because it's a natural firewall. I get that. That's what's in place. So I don't have a huge problem with it, but they're asking for trust. And unfortunately, Amazon and Google and Twitter, they did so much in the last year to damage people's trust. So many actions that people thought were egregious or directed at certain groups over others. They did a lot to damage their own brand equity, and now not a lot of people trust them. And so I think that's really what's going on there, Jeff. It is safe and secure, but a lot of people just choose not to trust them with the data, which, of course, if you still have the Amazon devices, you are trusting them with the data. There's not really much choice there, but that's the world we live in. You can have the tech in your life or you can not have the tech in your life. Things like Twitter, that was easy for me to give up. I canceled my Twitter account. I'm like, I don't actually even use this. It was like canceling the newspaper subscription that you never read. Like, I have a newspaper subscription. Like, they say number 1 tip for saving money in your life is go through and find old subscriptions that you don't use anymore and cancel them. Oh, wow, amazing. It was like that. I was like, I have a Twitter account? Oh, yeah, get rid of that thing. I haven't tweeted on that since 2008. Now, though, whenever I want to read a tweet, it's like, you're not logged in. And I'm like, grr. But anyway, it was my protest move. Thank you very much for the call, Jeff. We got you in the drawing here as well for the $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate, 888-250-2091. Kathy, welcome to the program. How can I help you on Compute This today?
Well, I keep getting, in fact, I just got about 10 minutes ago a pop-up about Windows, the new Windows.
Yeah.
And I'm a little concerned. You haven't mentioned it. Is it going to affect everything? Because I pretty much do everything, including my banking and everything else, on my computer. Is this going to wipe out all of my passwords and everything, or I have to start over?
Great question. The pop-up that you're seeing is usually regarding a new version of Windows 10 that's come out. Now, Microsoft releases new versions of Windows 10 every 6 months. So if you're seeing the pop-up, that means that you have an older version of Windows 10 and that you need to upgrade to the newer version. You're not going to lose any passwords or have, usually no problems at all. 80% of people go through that upgrade process without a single problem. The 20% of the people, though, end up in our shop getting a computer repair because the update botched something up. And unfortunately, it's like the same 20% every time. And so they get really bad about it because they have to keep coming in every 6 months. And so that's why we created a product that we call Safe Upgrade. And Safe Upgrade is a $55 do-it-yourself at-home product where basically we install that free Microsoft update for you the same way that we would do it on the bench in the service center, but we do it through automated software that you run on your computer. So if you're the do-it-yourself type, you can go to SchrockInnovations.com and pick up a copy of that software. Option 2 is you can bring your computer in, or we can do a free pickup for you. Well, we'll bring it in and we can install that update for you. It's only $85 to have us install the update. It's actually cheaper than an hour of labor because it's mostly unattended. Once we get everything set up right, we hit go and we can walk away from it. The third option, of course, would be to allow the update to install automatically on your computer. Do what the pop-up is telling you to do and install the update, and then cross your fingers and hope you're in the 80%. So they're all valid options, but that's the reason you're seeing the pop-up.
Do I need a new Safe Upgrade?
Well, when was the last time you purchased your Safe Upgrade?
For the last update. The
So-
last one you put out.
so
For the
last month.
21. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Well, if you have a copy of Safe Upgrade, well, let's run that bad boy. It's time. So if you need help running it, give us a call in the service center. We're happy to assist you over the Schrock desk at no additional cost to run that Safe Upgrade software and get it installed on your computer. But yeah, it's time to do it, Kathy.
Okay. I'll take care of it.
All right. Thank you so much. Have a great afternoon. All right. Maybe I should have said it more often. I took it off the schedule this week because I was like, everybody knows now that 21H1 is out, right? We've 888-250-2091, but that's the whole point, I guess, right? There's no such thing as a silly question. So you're getting a pop-up on your screen. Should you trust it? And that's one of the things that Secure Updater actually fixes, because the pop-up, she's getting a pop-up from Windows. And so, okay, I can create another pop-up that looks just like that pop-up, but clicking my OK button does something completely different. Installs a virus, for example. Or I can make an Adobe pop-up that looks like an Adobe installer, does something nefarious, whatever. So these pop-ups that come up, you can't trust them by default. And so when you have Secure Updater on your computer, it installs the updates automatically, and that way you don't have to worry about the pop-ups. All right, real quick before we go to break here. Microsoft just resorted to honesty in quite a brilliant way. All right, so they have a commercial for a video game called Outer Worlds 2. Those who were entranced by the E3 2021 Gamers Paradise, which is all of you, I'm sure, were desperate to learn about the contents of this new game. Microsoft, though, wanted to be particularly sincere about how far the development into the game truly is, right? So it released a trailer utterly devoid of details, yet full of self-deprecating accuracy. The mockery begins, as the game trailers, all game trailers seem to, with a pretentious voice offering, "We begin by hearing an old, wise-sounding voice, and we see a quiet, peaceful setting. This will make our game seem big and important." So this is like the marketing, like what you saw what Microsoft execs saw in the meeting. Like, this is what we're going to do. This is the plan for your Outer Worlds game. First, we're going to have a big voice and this peaceful scene. And then the ad shows a slow-motion shot of someone shooting, because gaming involves a lot of pleasure-filled shooting. And the voice muses, "These slow-motion shots make everything seem cool and should bolster pre-sale numbers." Yes, Microsoft, you know viewers well. The ad ratchets up the excitement tension. We see our hero, but only the silhouette, because the developers haven't finished the design or the story or any gameplay that's actually ready to show. So we just see a silhouette of a guy shooting slowly. Oh, golly. I have to tell you, you don't see that kind of honesty, but that's pretty much every video game right under development. You see the trailer and you're like, wow, the graphics are great. And then you get the game and it's like, where is that scene? It's like a cut scene. It's not actual gameplay. All right, 888-250-2091. Final break of the program. Stay on the line, Gary and Dale. When we come back, Facebook's smartwatch. Should you trust that one? We'll tell you all about it coming up next on Compute This.
If you can dream it, Schrock Interactive's website developers can make it happen. Refresh your website, automate sales and marketing, and grow your business today with Schrock Interactive. Every person listening to this broadcast has either experienced data loss or knows someone who has. When you think about it, you have a lot more data stored in many more places than you'd like to admit. Have you downloaded those videos from your phone, backed up the pictures on your iPad, or even tackled that sometimes daunting task of backing up your entire computer's hard drive? Most people just don't back up their stuff, and that's why Schrock Innovations has one of the most advanced data recovery centers in the Midwest. Equipped with the latest DDI data imaging devices, state-of-the-art custom recovery software, and Omaha's best data recovery technicians, Schrock Innovations has a 96.8% success rate when recovering data from damaged hard drives, flash drives, camera cards, and more. We all know we should back up our data, but if you are ever caught in a data loss nightmare, call the experts at Schrock Innovations to get your data back right where it belongs, safe and backed up on a stable hard drive. Compute This Pro Tip 578. Technology is constantly changing, so how can you tell when the time has come to recycle your old outdated computer and invest in a new one? Experts have rules of thumb and formulas, but Schrock believes the answer is simple. You should replace your old computer when it can no longer do the things you need in a secure way. For example, you should not be using operating systems like Windows XP or Vista because they're no longer maintained by Microsoft and they're not secure. And if your computer cannot run Windows 10, it's probably time to begin saving for a replacement. If your existing computer requires a repair and that cost is 50% or more of the cost of a new computer, it might be time to consider a replacement. But keep in mind, additional costs like data transfers and important software you have to upgrade like genealogy software or Quicken. And also keep in mind that modern computers are engineered to last 18 months for a normal user. And don't worry, you are considered a normal user. Schrock modular PCs and solid-state laptops are specifically designed to last 4 to 6 years for that same normal user, saving your family money and time. This pro tip brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Alrighty, folks. Thanks for joining us on the program today. I ran a little long that last segment, so this one's going to be a shorty, so we got to get right to it. 888-250-2091. Gary, welcome to the program. How can I help you on Compute This today?
Yes, so what I'm interested in is, I have an old Windows machine that's outdated.
Okay.
And could I convert that to a Unix box?
Yeah, I mean, Linux is a much less demanding operating system, but it does also require modern hardware. So a lot of what you're going to run into is if you install a modern version of Linux, if you have really, really old hardware, there may not be drivers available for the hardware. It's the same problem you'll run into with Windows, but because Linux is so much less demanding of an operating system, especially if you run it in a non-graphical interface, if you run it on command line, then it's really not demanding. But you could do it. The question is, should you do it? So as long as you have the hardware is new enough, XP hardware is going to be pretty old stuff. I mean, Windows 10 came out in 2015. So Windows XP was dead in 2001. Wait, let me get that right. 2001 was when Windows XP came out. So Windows XP, was officially sunset maybe 5 years ago, something like that. So, I mean, it's old hardware, but would it work? It might work. Should you do it? Probably not. Thanks for the call, Gary. I appreciate you joining us on the program. Dale, welcome to the show. How can I help you on Compute This today?
Hi, I was curious about cable TVs, computer companies outsourcing their technical support all over the phone to like Mexico, Central America, and the Philippines.
Support.com. Yep.
How secure that they are.
Probably not very. Then again, the question is how secure do they need to be? So, when you call, when you have a router, for example, and you call for support, or you call for the TV support, or, pretty much any device you have that's not like an actual computer, because like Dell and HP and Lenovo will outsource their support as well. But what I've noticed on the support for like the other devices is when you get the outsourced place, they're always trying to upsell you something on the call. So for example, you call for your router company and they're like, well, we can help you out with that. And, you can wait in queue, or for $10 extra, we can get you directly to a US based representative. And there's always like trying to squeeze an extra $5 or $10 out of you or more, depending on what you're doing. So as far as security goes, I mean, if you need the support, that's really the only option you have, unless you want to call someone like Schrock in. here's the thing. We know computers a lot, but the thing is just about everything is a computer now, right? Your TV is a computer. Your Amazon devices are just little computers. Your iPads, your Android tablets are just little computers running different operating systems. So they all operate on the same concepts. They all just have a different implementation. So a lot of my guys, when they go on site, when they install a wireless network for someone, for example, they'll say, we have 15 TVs in the house. Can you put them all on the Wi-Fi? And sure, we can do that for you. So we're getting all the TVs on, and then the kids are like, my Xbox needs to be on the Wi-Fi. And we're like, oh, we can put your Xbox on the Wi-Fi. Here you go. We can go, oh, my Apple Watch. You're like, okay. So, and we go through, we'll put 50 devices on the Wi-Fi once we install it, right? So is it secure? I wouldn't go offering up your mother's maiden name and your date of birth or anything if that's what they're asking for. But on the other hand, I think you're going to be perfectly fine just getting the support for the device that you need to get there, Dale. So thank you very much for the call. I appreciate you joining us on the program. Appreciate you listening to the show. We're going to keep on rolling here because we've only got a couple minutes to go. Now, Facebook has a smartwatch. It sounds super dumb. Okay. So, and I have friends that work at Facebook. So no offense, Tim, but this sounds really dumb. We were talking about Facebook having cameras that track you around the room. If you're I said, I'm a pacer. So Zoom kills me because I have to sit in one place when I'm talking. It's like, no, you get this Facebook, whatever camera, and it'll follow you around the room. I'm like, nuh-uh. This is dumb though. So this is a smartwatch that is completely run by Facebook that is detachable from the band on your wrist. So you can take the core of your watch off and hold it up and snap a picture of somebody, put it back on, and then you can share it right from the watch. I mean, it's like it does the smartwatchy stuff, but it's a camera that you pull off your wrist and hold awkwardly with two fingers while you tap on the screen where you're looking to take a picture because the screen's about the size of your fingertip, and then you share that photo online because it's just so much harder to reach into your pocket and grab your smartphone that has triple lens camera with 3D motion 4K video goodness, or you could use the tiny little pinhole camera on your Facebook smartwatch. Okay. I was a Knight Rider fan when I was a kid, so I love a smartwatch as much as the next guy. Delaney doesn't even know what Knight Rider is, but you got to look. You know who David Hasselhoff is, right? How can you know that and not know what Knight Rider is? You probably watch Baywatch. That's not what he's known for. Anyway, so this smartwatch, basically, why now? My wife commented yesterday about the ads she's seeing on her Facebook page and how they're so weird. She was seeing ads for mail, limitless mail, blah, blah, blah. She's seeing ads for incontinence products. She's seeing ads for all kinds of stuff that doesn't apply to her. And I just look at her and says, because you're on an iPhone. And she's like, oh my gosh. Yeah, Apple passed this whole security thing now, and Facebook literally doesn't know who you are. So that's what this fixes. They need to get a watch in your hand. You may not remember this, but Facebook had a phone too, the Facebook phone. It was released through LG. There's $100 for the Facebook phone. They eventually sold them for 99 cents a piece because nobody wanted the Facebook phone, but the watch is going to be so much different because everyone can use the junky little camera to take weirdly poor pictures that can't be edited of their friends and family and post them on Facebook. Today's winner, $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate, is Jeff. We'll get a hold of you on Monday to get that, and see you next Sunday, folks.
From the Amish Furniture of Nebraska studio, style you'll want, furniture you'll love. This is News Radio 1110 KFAB Omaha, an iHeart radio station.